So, James, thank you very much for being here with us and to agreeing to be on video together.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is James. Hello, everyone.
So, I always like to ask the people that I am having a conversation with, how did they get in doing what they do? In our case, we are here in a crypto conference. So, how did you get involved in this world?
Yeah, thank you. It's an interesting story. Actually, the first time I traded Bitcoin is 2014. It's actually, in pretty early stage. I just coincidentally noticed this from my friend, and I started trading it. But first 2 years didn't end up very well. Also, it's a bear market. Lose some money. But then starting 2016, the market goes up. I started to gain a lot of profit. So I also, start to, understand deeper about the industry, so understand what is Bitcoin, what it can do, and also understand deeper about the crypto industry as well. So I decided to, this is something I would love to do and for the long term. So I really decided to start a new fund called DFG. My family support me a lot from the beginning, so there's no outside LPs, unlike the other venture capital in the industry. So we started investment in 2015, 2016, and invest in first bunch of equity like exchange, like LedgerX, and all the other Bitcoin use cases, LedgerX, Brave, RSK, Circle, these kind of companies. Then we keep doing that. 2017 is an important year for us. We started investing into layer 1 protocols, really famous one these days like Near, Polkadot, Solana. We are lucky to get into early of these layer 1 protocols. And last 2 years is also very good for us. A big ball run. We are able to invest into a lot of end user applications, including Metaverse and also a GameFi. So we also established another set fund called J Square, also focused on these two, sectors for investment. So overall speaking, we are managing $1 billion right now. We invest into more than 100 projects, and we dip very deeply in the industry and try to supporting the industry to grow. That's
beautiful. What would your advice be to other people who are coming into a situation similar maybe to yours, but a few years later? Well, the first question everyone asks is, is it too late? Is it too late to start? I lost the wave. Now Bitcoin is too expensive and so on. Do you agree, or is it still time for an investor to start understanding and then broadening their positions in crypto?
Yeah, great question. I think from my understanding, at this stage at least, it's not too late to move into crypto space, because there are a couple of reasons for this. The first is the total market cap for crypto is still somewhere like above $2 trillion. It's already big, compared to 3-4 years ago, that's true. But if you compare this to stock market or derivative market, it's still a small market. At least gold even have $10 trillion in valuation, right? So, but stock is like $100 trillion, right? Derivative is 10 times bigger than the stock market. So still there's pretty big room for the industry to go. Right now it's not in the early stage, but not kind of, still mature yet. So they are still, from the total market perspective, still have room to grow. That's the first. The second is at this stage, I would say, the infrastructure, take a long years of growth, start to become mature, but not mature enough. Like Ethereum still have the problem of scalability issues, then you need layer 2 for layer 2 solutions. And the others may solve the problem of Ethereum on one certain aspect, but still have the other problem, right? Lack of innovation and applications, also the ecosystem are not mature. But overall speaking, I think with the past 10 years, more than 10 years actually, like 14 years for the overall crypto industry, layer 1 protocol start to get mature. So I think there's very less opportunity if you really want to start a new protocol. But in the application level of business, there are still a lot of things that which haven't been defined yet even, right? So last quarter we see DeFi become popular, then NFT, GameFi, and Metaverse. But that's still the first years or first 2 years of these ideas. And maybe DeFi is mature than others, but for sure GameFi and Metaverse, that's very new. So still you have a lot of room for the newcomer to come here and build a project which user like and use it, right? So I think there's still plenty of room on the end user application level and for people to build. As well as something in the middle. Infrastructure, I say layer one is getting mature, but something like between the infrastructure and also the end user application, there's a lot of tools need to be built, and for this level also not mature yet. So overall speaking, I think there's still a lot of opportunity in the industry for a builder to come here to build something, as well as the investor to come here. As I explained before, for the market, total market cap, so investors do have
very clear.
Opportunity to invest into different coins.
What are the 2-3 most important factors that you consider when you want to evaluate the opportunity of investing in a project?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first important criteria, what we see here is about the team. Whether your team is experienced and good enough to build a product. That's probably the most important aspect. Just imagine, because we view this like the market will always change, right? So there's like today DeFi is popular, tomorrow maybe NFT is popular. So the trend always change. But if you have a good team in the industry, build solid product, one day the wave will come, and then you become popular and the valuation goes up. So it's important really to kind of selecting the good team to invest. Then they will add a lot of certainty to your portfolio and give you very kind of solid returns in the future. And people probably will argue, okay, there will be new excellent people moving to the industry and building new project, which probably crash the previous one, like the big player in the kind of like just like the investor, like the traditional investor, or like the builders or like Google, Amazon, from these companies. But in fact, what we see in the past couple of years, it's not happened. Either these kind of excellent people, join the team already existing in the industry, or they start a new business, but most likely they are going to fail because they don't know how to make it work in this industry. So I would say in the most likely circumstances, they will still join the existing team. So which means like in most situations that the existing good team is the good team in the future. So if you're selecting the good team, that will create a certainty for you to get good returns for the investment. So that's the number one criteria. There could be all the other ways to explain it, but I think that's the most important thing here.
The difference between traditional investing in equity and investing in crypto is, I think, something that we could summarize with a faster time to liquidity. Because in traditional startups, investment firms, VCs look at 5-8 years before they can become liquid. In crypto, this can be as short as 2-3 or even less. However, while in the traditional industry there are canonical moments to actually sell, whether it is an M&A or an IPO, in crypto, exactly because of the faster time to liquidity, there is no necessarily established criteria for when the investor should sell the tokens or hold the tokens. Now, your case is unique or not typical in the sense that you don't have LPs, but a more traditional firm with LPs needs to return liquidity to their LPs, right?
Sure.
So what do you specifically do in terms of exiting to fiat or diversifying your portfolio? Or what would you recommend a firm that needs to return liquidity to their LPs to work with in terms of selling the crypto positions of the investee startups?
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good point. I think At this stage, I mean, I think the situation is true in a bull market. You know, cause like it's a crazy bull market, everyone were going to buy the token on the second market. Then you know the liquidation process is super short. Then you issue a token, you have idea, do a project, issue a token, go to IDO, go get listed, then you can exit, right? It's like a 3 to 6 months, but that's pretty short. Everyone is happy about their return. But in a bear market or in a market like this, I think that's not going to work. Because basically in the market, there's no buy side on the second market. Even if you invest right now, if you exit on the second market, you may still lose money. So at this stage, and also we can see in the primary market, the investment cases like the project usually asks for a long lockup period if it's a good quality project. So I think the liquidation process in such a market actually become longer than it used to be. So which is probably not a bad thing. Still you need time to build, right? So I think that's the time which gives the project to use for building the product. Still you need time to make the mature product or mature technology, right? So I think that's actually good and for the long term. For your question, what I think is that I also do the same. It's like there should be a focus on your fund. I really don't like the VCs or crypto VCs being too diversified and catch the trend here and there. When I talk to them, they say I invest in everything, but which is fine. But you need to have a focus. For us, it's very clear. DFG focus on Polkadot and the Polkadot ecosystem because we have a large position. We believe in this protocol, and J Square focus on metaverse and GameFi. So. And user application, these two sectors. So we have very clear focus. Then, if you have a focus, then you invest into this kind of project, and then, when this becomes big, then your fund can have a lot of return. But if it's too diversified, first, it's hard to manage, and second, you will face a problem, question you mentioned, we're trying to sell, how can I liquid? If I have a focus, then the problem will be easy. I will hold my position about which I believe to, which I focus, and then sell the rest of our position, which is probably not important to me, or at least like a kind of not closely bound to the focus. So that's my criteria. So keep the things I believe to, I focus on, and sell the rest. So that's my understanding about and a suggestion to the fund, which have the LPs.
The regulatory landscape is always shifting, and as a matter of fact, maybe not every 3 months, but year after year, there is an opportunity of jurisdictional arbitrage, where a previously up-and-coming jurisdiction maybe is less fully capable of executing their purpose of aligning regulators and crypto banks or other players, service providers in a given market. As of today, which areas you see more promising, geographically speaking, for a successful crypto project launch? And if you were to say in the next year or two, do you expect some major jurisdictions, for example, the United States, to become more to better clarify its position with regards to crypto projects as opposed to what it is today?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think first of all, already we can see a lot of countries or jurisdictions being very friendly to crypto. Actually, most of the countries in the world are friendly to crypto. Almost all the countries in Europe. I think US is still friendly, but they are trying to regulate these things. And in Asia, you will see a lot of jurisdictions like UAE, Singapore, Japan as well. There's a lot of countries being very friendly to crypto. At least they are embrace this trend, and with kind of start to making regulations toward cryptocurrency from different aspect. The ways they regulate this could be different. Because the US is very clear: is that security or not? If it's a security, then SEC get involved. If not, it's probably like a commodity. Then you do future trading. Then the CFTC will get involved. So a very clear picture. The other countries may have different opinion. They will use their own rules to regulate crypto. But what I understand is this is the trend that will not stop. The regulation will come gradually. And they were, some countries will just start first, some countries will start later. For big, probably the most important country, United States, they will probably come later because right now, they must notice this. This is a $2 trillion market. So they must notice this and they will start to making rules to regulate it, right? Mm-hmm. So, but later on, when this become even bigger, like 10 trillions, even bigger, then, I think when the time grows, then United States will make a very clear picture about which things, which kind of categories belong to which department and how to regulate the things. And they are still learning, but within the process, I think everything will come later. But what's interesting is like, the process is actually the most important thing because in the process, the investor, the project, they will gain a lot of kind of return during the process. Not like you are waiting for the regulation to come and this already become a super big market, then opportunity will become less and less, right? So I think the process of the regulation is probably the most important time period.
You mentioned what are the two areas of focus of your current activities. What are new developments that you are keeping your eyes on that could bring crypto to a 10 trillion or 20 trillion market cap? For example, tokenization of either physical assets or intangible assets like copyrights or patents could be an example where previously non-liquid markets could be much more accessible and much more liquid. Is this or any other trends catching your attention today?
Yeah, that's great, but I would think a little bit differently. The crypto people, maybe that's my mindset. I think the crypto native project is actually the most important here. So what I think, will bring the next bull market could be three things. The first is really about the infrastructure. If Ethereum or solve the scalability issues, that will be big, because this is the problem for the past decade. In 2017, because Ethereum have the scalability issues, the network crashed, then you come up EOS, Tron, these competitors. And last quarter, you have Ethereum have scalability issues, then come up layer 2 solutions, as well as the other competitors, Avalanche, Solana, the others. So the problem haven't been solved. Bitcoin as well, Bitcoin's crowded, previously, right? So I guess, if the scalability issue is solved, and the network can be used, the TPS is high, but without, being centralized, but still make it decentralized, then it will be a big thing for really a major break for the industry. The second is also on the infrastructure level, is the cross-chain. Because, we believe that in the future, still a multi-chain world, there will be a lot of protocol coexist together. So who can make these protocols comparable with each other? That's a really important thing in the industry. So cross-chain is the second thing I think super big in the future, which is an important break. The third is really about the new innovation in the big sector, just like GameFi or Metaverse. This whole new sector, but you build it on a crypto, use crypto and use the protocol, build it, and everyone starts to using it. So if this happen on the application level, this is also a breaker. I think one of these three, or two of three, or even three of three, which probably realize, then we'll definitely bring the next bull market in the crypto industry.
Do you believe that Lightning in Bitcoin is a good answer to the scalability?
Lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I followed the team actually from the beginning in 2015 with these kind of people. I think that but the important thing for Bitcoin is like scalability issues for Bitcoin is not as as that important. To at least to Ethereum, because Bitcoin as a store of value, then transactions there are not many.
Unless like El Salvador, other countries are also adopting Bitcoin as a means of payment.
Yes.
Right? Then transactions and scalability becomes important again.
Yes. I think that's true. If you use that for payment tools in some countries, that could be the case.
What about Ethereum 2 and moving to proof of stake? Do you think that will be a good answer? And do you think that proof of stake is preferable to proof of work?
Yeah, absolutely. Proof of stake is definitely the trend. So, cause all the things you do besides except Bitcoin is doing proof of stake.
Yeah.
Cause that's a better way of issue the currency. Just better. You know, it got more decentralized. The network cannot be hacked. Cause you can control more than 50% of mining power, but it's never going to happen if you control more than 50% of coin. It's just almost impossible. And even if you control it, there's no intention for you to crash the network, and then your coins will go to zero. So it's almost impossible for this to happen. So it's just a better way to issue the currency, and you got staking reward, right? In proof of work.
You mentioned cross-chain composability.
Yeah.
That is very likely to be necessary so that in a multi-chain world, different smart contracts can talk to each other. Isn't that going to create an even more dangerous bottleneck in terms of developer talent being available, people who can take full advantage of the technologies, and that we run the risk of finding relatively weaker projects that are not adopting the leading edge solutions?
I mean, if you just imagine, you know, the different ecosystems comparable with each other, it actually benefits everybody. You know, for the project, you're deploying a multi-chain, which means you can interact with more kind of, you know.
But is EVM going to be the answer, or there going to be non-EVM chains that will still be composable?
Yeah, great question. I think EVM is the answer right now. You can use like a swap, any swap or other solutions to do that right now. But as Vitalik also already mentioned, this is risky, right? So if you get hacked in a certain network, either you return money or you get it. But if you hack between the network, you can completely lose the money. So it's a little bit risky here. I think it could be improved. But I guess eventually, right now EVM is the answer. Eventually, probably not. You know, there'll be WebAssembly, Wasm, there'll be others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if watching this video, a team of passionate and talented people want to reach out, how can they present their project to you to be evaluated?
Yeah, sure. Happy to talk to everyone. You can reach out to me through Telegram or Twitter. So my Telegram and Twitter account are @RealJamesWall. So it's easy to find. You can just directly message me, and happy to communicate with all the passionate people who want to join the crypto industry. And would love to have more chat with you guys and about anything in the crypto.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it, and really good to be here. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Good to see you.
Absolutely.